Namaste, Dhanavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Shripad Bhaktimadhava Puri Maharaj, we are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 10, Text 31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evam vidha gadhantinam sagira purayoshitam nirikshane nabhinandam sashmitena yayo hari. While the ladies of the capital, Hastinapur, were greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord, smiling, accepted their good greetings, and casting the grace of his glance over them, he departed from the city. Text 32. Ajatasatru pratanam gopitaya madhudvisha parebhyaha sankita snehat prayunta chatur anginim. Maharaj Yudhisthira, although no one's enemy, engaged 4 divisions of defense, horse, elephant, chariot, and army, to accompany Lord Kṛṣna, the enemy of the Asuras, demons. The Maharaj did this because of the enemy and also out of affection for the Lord. Purport. Natural defensive measures are horses and elephants combined with chariots and men. Horses and elephants are trained to move to any part of the hills or forests and plains. The charioteers could fight with many horses and elephants by the strength of powerful arrows, even up to the standard of the Brahmastra, similar to the modern atomic weapon. Maharaj Yudhisthira knew well that Kṛṣna is everyone's friend and well-wisher, and yet there were Asuras who were by nature envious of the Lord. So out of fear of attack from others, and out of affection also, he engaged all varieties of defensive forces as bodyguards of Lord Kṛṣna. If required, Lord Kṛṣna himself was sufficient to defend himself from the attack of others who counted the Lord as their enemy. But still he accepted all the arrangements made by Maharaj Yudhisthira, because he could not disobey the king, who was his elder cousin. The Lord plays the part of a subordinate in his transcendental sporting, and thus sometimes he puts himself in the care of Yashodamata for his protection in his so-called helplessness of childhood. That is the transcendental Leela or pastime of the Lord, the basic principle for all transcendental exchanges between the Lord and his devotees, The basic principle for all transcendental exchanges between the Lord and his devotees is exhibited to enjoy a transcendental bliss for which there is no comparison, even up to the level of the Brahmananda. Text 33. Atha duragatan sori kuravan virahaturan sanivartya dridam snigdan prayatsvanagarim priyai. Out of profound affection for Lord Kṛṣna, the Pandavas, who were of the Kuru dynasty, accompanied him a considerable distance to see him off. They were overwhelmed with the thought of future separation. The Lord, however, persuaded them to return home, and he proceeded towards Dwarka with his dear companions. Texts 34 through 35. Kuru jangala panchalan surashinan sayamunan brahmavartam kurukshetram matsyan sarasvatam mata marudanvam atikramya Savir abir ayoparan anartan bhargavo pajak chantavaho managvibu. O Sanaka, the Lord then proceeded towards Kurujangala, Panchala, Surasena, and the land on the bank of the river Yamuna, Brahmavarta, Kurukshetra, Matsya, Sarasvata, the province of the desert, and the land of scanty water. After crossing these provinces, he gradually reached the Saurvira and Abhira provinces. Then west of these reached Dwarka at last. Purport. The provinces passed over by the Lord in those days were differently named, but the direction given is sufficient to indicate that he traveled through Delhi, Punjab, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Saurashtra, and Gujarat, and at last reached his home province at Dwarka. We do not gain any profit simply by researching the analogous provinces of those days up to now, but it appears that the desert of Rajasthan and the provinces of scanty water like Madhya Pradesh were present even 5,000 years ago. The theory of soil experts that the desert developed in recent years is not supported by the statements of Bhagavatam. We may leave the matter for expert geologists to research because the changing universe has different phases of geological development. We are satisfied that the Lord has now reached his own province, Dwarka, from the Kuru provinces. Kṛṣna continues to exist since the Vedic age, and it is sheer foolishness when interpreters ignore or deny the existence of Kṛṣna. Text 36. Tatra hatatrayar hari pratyujatarhana sadhyam veje disham paschad gavisto gam gatastada. On his journey through these provinces, he was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations. In the evening, in all places, the Lord suspended his journey to perform evening rites. This was regularly observed after sunset. Purport. It is said here that the Lord observed the religious principles regularly while he was on the journey. There are certain philosophical speculations that even the Lord is under the obligations of fruitive action, but actually this is not the case. He does not depend on the action of any good or bad work. Since the Lord is absolute, everything done by him is good for everyone. But when he descends to the earth, he acts for the protection of the devotees and for the annihilation of the impious non-devotees. Although he has no obligatory duty, still he does everything so that others may follow. That is the way of factual teaching. One must act properly himself and teach the same to others. Otherwise, no one will accept one's blind teaching. He is himself the awarder of fruitive results. He is self-sufficient, and yet he acts according to the rulings of the revealed scripture in order to teach us the process. If he does not do so, the common man may go wrong. But in the advanced stage, when one can understand the transcendental nature of the Lord, one does not try to imitate him. That is not possible. The Lord in human society does what is the duty of everyone, but sometimes he does something extraordinary, and not to be imitated by the living being. His acts of evening prayer, as stated herein, must be followed by the living entity, but it is not possible to follow his mountain lifting or dancing with the gopis. One cannot imitate the sun, which can exhaust water even from a filthy place. The most powerful can do something which is all good, but our imitation of such acts will put us into endless difficulty. Therefore, in all actions, the experienced guide, the spiritual master, who is the manifested mercy of the Lord, should always be consulted, and the path of progress will be assured. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto of 10th chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Departure of Lord Kṛṣna for Dwarka. Chapter 11. Lord Kṛṣna's entrance into Dwarka. Sutta Ubhacha Anartansa Upavraja Sfridanjana Padansvakan Tadhamau Daravaram Tesham Vishadam Samayaniva. Sutta Goswami said, Upon reaching the border of his most prosperous metropolis, known as the country of the Antartas, Dwarka, the Lord sounded his auspicious conch shell, heralding his arrival and apparently pacifying the dejection of the inhabitants. Purport. The beloved Lord was away from his own prosperous metropolis of Dwarka for a considerably long period because of the battle of Kṛṣṇa, and thus all the inhabitants were overcome with melancholia due to separation. When the Lord descends to the earth, his eternal associates also come with him, just as the entourage of a king accompanies him. Such associates of the Lord are eternally liberated souls, and they cannot bear the separation of the Lord even for a moment, because of intense affection for the Lord. Thus the inhabitants of the city of Dwarka were in a mood of dejection and expected the arrival of the Lord at any moment. So the heralding sound of the auspicious conch shell to see the Lord amongst themselves. The heralding sound of the auspicious conch shell was very encouraging, and apparently the sound pacified their dejection. They were still more aspirant to see the Lord amongst themselves, and all of them became alert to receive him in the befitting manner. These are the signs of spontaneous love of Godhead. Text 2. Sauchkase davalo dara dara Puru kramasyad harashona sonima Tadham yamana kara kanja sampute Yatabja kande kala hamsa utsvana. The white and fat bold conch shell, being gripped by the hand of Lord Kṛṣṇa and sounded by him, appeared to be reddened by the touch of his transcendental lips. It seemed that a white swan was playing in the stems of red lotus flowers. Purport. The redness of the white conch shell, due to the lip touch of the Lord, is a symbol of spiritual significance. The Lord is all spirit, and matter is ignorance of this spiritual existence. Factually, there is nothing like the Supreme Lord Kṛṣṇa. The Lord is present in every particle of all existence, and he can manifest his presence in anyone. By ardent love and devotional service to the Lord, or in other words, by spiritual contact with the Lord, everything becomes spiritually reddened like the conch shell in the grip of the Lord, and the Paramahamsa, or the supremely intelligent person, plays the part of a ducking swan in the water of spiritual bliss, eternally decorated by the lotus flower of the Lord's feet. Thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 3, hopefully on Friday. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Jagat Guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the worldwide devotees. All glories to all human and non-human living entities. Hare Kṛṣṇa.